So in this video, we're going to talk about your long form batting strategy. So this can incorporate anything from between 2 to 4 days of play and between 80 and 96 overs in a day. So your first 20 balls are going to be the most important in any innings. This is usually when you're your most tentative, your feet aren't really moving. What's really important in this stage is to really watch that ball as close as possible, see it as early as you can, so that you can react accordingly. A lot of people will stress about their scoring rate in the first 20 balls, but that's something that you can easily make up later. Still being there after 20 balls is your ultimate goal in this scenario. Once you face those first 20 balls, this is when you'll start to settle in. You might feel a little bit more comfortable, your feet are moving a bit better. What's important to know in this stage is that you don't get complacent. Those first 20 balls, you've really watched the ball hard, you're working really hard, but once you get past that, it can be very easy to start playing some rash shots, trying to score runs a little bit more quickly. But this next 20 balls is almost as important as that first 20. Once you get through that stage, it's very easy for those runs to start to pile on really quickly. By this stage, first change is on, they might bring a spinner on, not as good as those first few bowlers, and those runs begin to flow. During this stage is a great opportunity to start manipulating the field. So what I mean by this is, let's just say a spinner's on, they've crowded you a little bit, he's bowling fairly well. Something you can do is to change it up a little bit. Okay, so something personally I like to do is to be able to come down the wicket and knock the ball over his head. 4 or 6, whatever that is. From there, the bowler's going to be conscious that you can play that shot, and they're more likely to possibly drop one short where you can score more runs off that. Or if you do it once or twice, they might feel that they need to drop back the field, and this is a great opportunity for you just to hit a single, rotate the strike, and make you feel a lot more comfortable. It is important to know that when you're coming out to bat, this stage is going to happen. You will eventually start scoring runs a lot more freely, no matter how bad you're hitting them at the start of your innings. So this is where patience becomes extremely important. It is almost certain that in any long innings, you're going to face a good spell of bowling. You could be on 50 at the time, a bowler comes on, and is bowling perfectly to you, and you feel like you can't score anymore. All the runs that you were scoring so freely have dried up, and this is a stage where most people will get out. Most people in this stage will become impatient, they'll play a rash shot, and they're out, and then they're watching their friends score the runs when the bad bowler comes back on. It is extremely important in this time to be disciplined. Wait for the bad ball. It might be 5 overs, but if you can get through that 5 overs, you know that there's runs coming on the back end of that. This is something that all the best batsmen in the world are able to do. What you'll see on a lot of scorecards is people getting 50, 60, 70, and then they get out. It's usually due to a lack of patience. People that are scoring the 130, 150, what they're doing is they're able to get through this time when it's hard, and then capitalize later in the day when things get a lot easier for batting. There's been so many times when I've been batting that I've been stuck between 30 and 40. The opening bowler comes back on, bowls a really good 5 over spell, I've hardly scored a run, and then magically I'm on 70. Those next 5, 6 overs, they've changed the bowler, and you've been able to capitalize on what's to follow. This is a really satisfying feeling, and I hope you guys can learn how to get to this stage as soon as possible. Following this stage, it's very normal for batsmen to start getting tired. Once that tiredness creeps in, it's very easy for that patience to wither away, your concentration drops, it's much easier for you to play that big slog, I just want to get the runs nice and quick. This is the second issue people have in not being able to go on and score big runs. This is where building your fitness up at training becomes extremely important. It's at its most important in the back end of an innings. A lot of the time, your team is actually relying on you being the set batsman to go on and score that big 100 and win you guys the game. How often do you see someone get out for 80 and then the team loses? They've put in all that hard work, they've got to that great score and then gotten out where the team needed him to score that extra 20 or 30 runs that they could have done extremely easily because they were the set batsman, feeling comfortable, seeing the ball really well. If you manage to make it through this stage, this is where you have your most fun. That last 10 to 15 overs of a day, the fielding team's extremely tired, and this is when you can capitalize on those tired bodies. They're not running as well on the field, the bowlers are that little bit slower, you're seeing the ball extremely well. In that last 10 to 15 overs, it's very easy for you to score 50 plus runs yourself. Just want you to think about it yourself. How often has your team in a 2-day game not lasted the full amount of overs? You've given the other team 10 to 15 overs to bat at the end, and you're out there and you go, gosh, how easy is this for them? What you need to be doing is taking your time throughout an innings, keeping those wickets in hand, so when it comes to that last 10 to 15 overs, you guys can capitalize on that instead of the other team getting an easy start to their innings. So ultimately, with your long form batting strategy, it's all about breaking it up into sections. Each 10 to 15 overs is another section that if you can get through, it's going to be easier to come down the track. You're going to put yourself in good stead to be able to score that big innings that you really want. As we know, to progress to the next level, or to score lots of consistent runs, it's about putting these things together in a way that you can score them regularly, so that you can navigate a long innings as best as possible.